So we move to section 4, our industry examples section. Now in this particular section, as I've mentioned in the intro and elsewhere, we're going to deal with 5 key examples relevant to the events management industry in real life. And really our purpose, let's remember, is to memorize snippets, parts, and if we get the right sort of topic, try and differentiate ourselves from students sitting around us, so to speak, in the exam. In other words, impress your marker, perhaps with a stat. Okay, so let's take a look at number 1. This is in the area of awards, and indeed, given Rodnim's position and the issues that we see within the pre-scene, getting awards, promoting yourself, social media, etc., this is an important area. Remember, they're a small player, and the big boys, all 4 of them in the industry, are really cleaning up. We're talking about, a 74% market share compared to the rest of the small players. So this one's interesting. Here's the example. This is the Event Technology Awards 2024, a lineup of winners, and just note the areas, innovation, engagement, excellence across the event industry. And I think there's some mileage in taking a little bit of time perhaps to look further into this. In other words, let's take a look at Pablo Bonone's, for example, the event tech's rising star. What's he doing? What sort of tech is he introducing? So in essence, this, although a short one, is about how real life players within the events management industry are promoting themselves, from everywhere between sort of audience engagement, AI, sustainability, and indeed hybrid event production. So that's the first one. Now, leading on to that, another one in this area of technology, this sort of builds in a little bit more detail on what we saw within example 1. They talk here about creativity and resilience, and indeed, the solutions that were put forward, many of them, let's remember, are in the area of innovation and really, transforming events. So in essence, what this particular individual, Adam Parry, is suggesting is that going forward in terms of dealing with challenges and issues within the industry, the real focus is going to be on the power of technology. And I wouldn't be surprised if we get some sort of tech question or tech disruption question within the exam. So let's delve a little bit further into this area. So far, these little examples could easily be quoted. Next area for us, slight change of tack. Now, I always like CSR, corporate social responsibility, and ethics as topic areas for case study exams. They're very, very common, and indeed, they're very easy to deal with as well. So this particular one that I found is about disabled music creators. Now, we don't need to get a task on this area, but in essence, it would be quite good to be able to really cut and paste this into a script. If we get something in the area of, let's say, fair treatment or even treatment of staff, this particular entity, Attitude is Everything, have been doing these reports since 2019. And indeed, I'm going to build on the report in a moment in the next example. But again, something that's easy to quote, easy to remember on a popular topic in the SBL exam. Let's move on to the next one, and this builds on the one just before. Again, we're going to reference sort of equality here as well as ethics and indeed CSR. So this particular report produced by the entity just discussed talks about, how individuals who are disabled felt, 48% confident in applying for funding, 10% confident in self-promoting, etc., etc. It would be nice to perhaps include, that's a UK Act, Equality Act 2010, perhaps nice to include reference to that, again, if we get the right sort of task. And remember what I said in example 1. These examples should sort of springboard you to maybe looking online. Now, don't go overboard. We don't want 2-3 hours a night researching the industry, but finding other relevant examples in the area of the SBL syllabus. Last area for us, again, building on what we've seen in the area sort of strategy and CSR. In this particular one, it talks about, what the industry can do. I mean, they're talking about the music industry, but, in essence, we're linking it in with events management. So there's a number of different areas here, funding, self-promotion, live showcasing. So again, these areas would be easy to weave into several different types. Now, in order to cover all the possibilities of requirements in the exam, whether or not it's in ethics, CSR, tech, innovation, etc., we'd probably need 40 or 50 or 60 or 70 examples. But hopefully you get a feel for what I'm trying to get at in terms of peppering or sprinkling your script if we get the right sort of task. Okay? So this is a sort of a starter for 10, as it were. Okay, so I hope that made sense, and indeed that you found this particular video and the other videos helpful, and that your studies are going well. Thanks for listening.